Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Star Wars here. This is another story. This isn't gonna be like my full-time thing, but this is a very recent story. It happened just yesterday. Um, this is honestly scarier to me than the last one, which we were in a full-on haunted house last time, but this is more scary. So, me, my brother, and my mom, we're gonna go fishing at a pond. My mom loves to fish, so we headed out at our grandmother's neighbor's old house. Like the place was abandoned. We went behind it and we walked through a cornfield, yeah? So we're going behind a cornfield, making our way through it. It doesn't get interesting until around the last part, so we're making our way through this cornfield. I'm pushing it over, and we pass this house, so we gotta get. This has nothing to do with it. I'm just going into detail because I don't want this to be a very short video. We walk past the house, we go deeper in the cornfield so they don't see us, because we're like right in their backyard. And after we got out of the cornfield, we kind of had to walk through a little small patch of woods. And once we get out of those woods, we're at a bean field, like a soybean field. Our dog followed us, and we get all the way across the bean field, and we enter another patch of woods. This is where things start getting interesting. So we enter the other patch of woods, and there's a deer stand. I'm just naming every little detail because why not? And we go past the deer stand, go in the woods. Immediately, one of the very first things we noticed is that there's a lot of briars, and I'm very skinned up right now. My arms are very sore. So this is where the briars are very important. We went through like the first couple patches of briars trying to get to this pond, and we decide we don't want to go through these briars anymore. Let's go around them. And my mom hasn't been to this pond before, so she's using Google Maps. And the Google Maps wants us to go through the briars. Like, that's a straight path. Going through the briars will get us right to the pond. But we didn't. We tried to avoid the briars, so we would go around them and get somewhat lost. And we get to a point where we can't go around the briars, so we decide to turn back, that the pond ain't worth all of these briars. So we start turning back. We made the dumbest decision to avoid the briars again that we had to go through to get to this point. And then we're completely lost. We have no idea where we are. We just think we do at this point. So I'm kind of freaking out a little bit, not badly. My brother's freaking out pretty bad. And I'm freaking out pretty bad too. My mom's like the only calm person at this point. And so, yeah, we're in the woods. I start freaking out more. My brother starts freaking out more, and my mom is slowly, kind of, sort of getting panicked, but not really. Not really at all, but kind of. So, we were walking. I'm getting really nervous. I'm having a panic attack at this point. I mean, the thing is, my brother is usually the one who's more panicked than me, but this time, for some reason, I'm the panicked one. He's not as near as panicked as I am, because at one point I got so panicked we made our way to a little not really a clearing, but somewhere in the woods where we could sit down. Like there's still trees all around us, not a clearing, and it's cloudy out too, so it's pretty dark because this wasn't early in the day, like in the AM. It was around 5 p.m. when we entered, and at this point it's about maybe 6:30. So once we get like to this sitting point, I mean, we have service to make things better. We have service, which that does come in very important in this video. So I call my grandparents and my dad because why not? They usually call around this time. So I'm getting calls out of the way because I know they're going to call and I don't want to go into deep exclamation because I'm freaked out and would rather not talk about it right now. And then I try to stand up. I get very lightheaded, dizzy. My head gets warm and itchy. I kind of went to sit down and fell down. I did it again. I fell down. I did it again. I blacked out for like 1 second. I didn't like black out and hit the ground with a thud. I like blacked out just enough to fall down and then I was awake again. So then I start trying to walk and I pass out. I mean, I didn't mean to say pass out. And I start puking everywhere. The first time I puked wasn't very bad. Not much stuff come out. But the second and third time I was puking pretty bad now. So I was puking pretty bad, And then this is around the point where we decided, yeah, this is not a very good idea. We need to get out of here, and we need to get out of here now. So we're looking at Google Maps, and at this point, me and my brother have kind of been like, Mama, just call the cops already. Like, we're lost in here. Call the sheriff's department. Call the cops something. She didn't really want to, but she finally typed in the sheriff's department number and called them. They were kind of describing what we would need to do, but they were like, okay, we can't really track your location. We'll just dial 911. They can track the ping on your phone and get you to where you need to go, or come get you if they have to, or come get a dog so they can find you or whatever. So we dial 911, and this dude answered the phone, and like I said, typical 911, where's the state of your emergency? And we're like, yes, we've been in the woods for about 3 hours now, and one of my sons is dizzy-headed and it started puking, and we have no idea where to go. We have service, obviously, because we called the cops or whatever. She didn't say that, but yeah, it's just obvious. I wanted to point that out. But Google Maps is kind of screwing us over. I forgot to mention that part. Google Maps screwed us over in this because it told us to go one way. We would get to the point where it wanted us to go, and then it would say we were facing the other way and that we weren't where we needed to be, which that's very important, because if it weren't for Google Maps, we would have if Google Maps was working right, we would have been out of the woods by now. So, yeah, Google Maps screwed us over, and the cops are like, well, can you look at the sunset and go south of it or west or some direction of it? I can't specifically remember. And we're like, no, it's cloudy outside. And he's like, okay, officers are on the way. They might have a dog. We don't know. So, maybe 5 minutes later, the officers staying on the phone with us because they got to do that to track your ping. Oh, that was my phone. I'm sorry about that. And he's like, they should be getting close by now. And around this time, we're hearing sirens, and we start yelling because me and my brother are really smart. Which this actually kind of does come in place, because I'm not just jokingly saying we're very smart. We're not actually like crazy smart, but this wasn't a bad idea that we had. We're yelling like, "Hello, hey, hello, can you hear me?" And they're like, when they hear us, they're like turning the sirens on, going like wee woo, wee woo. To like whenever they heard us, they were going like that. So we start following it, and at this point, I'm like barging through them briars. I mean, I could care so much less about the briars at this point, because I'm ready to get out of the woods. We've been in here for 3 hours, and I'm sick now. And to make things worse, I have a briar stuck in my foot at that part, and I couldn't get out till I got in the car with the cops. So we start following the noise, and eventually we hear a voice. I don't know what he said, but we heard a voice. And we followed the voice, and I saw a light. It was his flashlight. It was already dark outside. It was about 8 o'clock now. Or 8:20, 8:30, somewhere in the 8 o'clockness, stuff like that. Okay, we follow the cop, and we hear on his radio, I don't know why I'm talking about this, because this wasn't a very major emergency. It's definitely something I would not want to happen ever, ever, ever again. But this made me feel special. It made it sound more major and like I was about to die, and I feel special because of it. I don't know why. I said something like his walkie-talkie made that one noise like when somebody's coming in, like dun-dun-dun, and then he's like, we have made contact with them. So we start walking back to their vehicle and all that, and I forgot to mention, again, I forget a lot of things because I don't do this very much. I'm a gamer. Yeah. We start heading back to the car, and the dog's with us. A dog followed us all the way there. We walked about 3 miles in total. I think like 7 flights of stairs and about 7,000 steps, according to my mom's phone. And we get in the cop car. I had the fishing poles. The cop was not kind enough to let the dog ride in the car with him and bring the fishing poles. And the worst part was I lost my knife somewhere in this. Yeah, I love knives and guns and stuff like that. So I lost my knife somewhere. I called the sheriff's department, asked them if they could see it or whatever, find it. They didn't really do anything about it, but I'm just glad that I'm not in the woods, because we seriously thought we would end up staying the night in the woods, and we didn't because we're smart and we called the cops. Finally, we called the cops. We had talked about calling the cops for a while, She said if it came down to it, we would totally call the cops. But yeah, that's the end of the story. Leave a like if you like beans. Bye.